Hello everybody! We are back to discuss E3. I'm TheJamesRolls, and of course, I am joined by...
GreenCobrasGaming.
And Lady Gear to you.
Alright, so E3 2016 has come and gone, and we are going to be running down every single conference now. Just a heads up, I'm the only one who's seen every single one, so I do have notes prepared to discuss for all of them. Basically, for the smaller conferences, we're just going to run down the games that were announced and then give our thoughts. And then we'll move on to the big dogs, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, and discuss everything about theirs. And there will be questions as well that Later Gator to You has gracefully written down. So we might as well just kick this off with EA's conference. So the games that they announced during their conference were FIFA 2017, Madden 2017, Mass Effect, Andromeda, Titanfall 2, Fee, Star Wars is getting new new games over the course of the next couple years, and expansions to Battlefront and such. And then there's Battlefield 1, which is set in World War I. So, guys, what are your thoughts on all of the games that were announced? Personally, I really enjoyed the look we got at Fee. It reminded me of a Limbo-esque game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more of it. I can't remember specifically if they announced it was, I think they announced it was also going to be on PC, through Origin or something like that. But what do you guys think of everything that was announced?
Well, I mean, like I said, Fee looks pretty interesting. Like, I'm not that big of a fan of indie games, but I mean, still looks interesting and see how well, and plus to see how well it actually does after it launches and stuff, as well as like kind of excited for the new Battlefield game. Really excited for that. And just excited for like just to see just to see how the games turn out and everything. Really.
Well, from the list you've said, my thoughts are I don't really care that much about most of those games because
Nintendo fanboy.
I don't know if it's just me, but
I'm kidding.
That's my job.
Sorry, I'm joking anyway. Nintendo fanboys here. I'm a true.
Hey, I let's play 2 PlayStation games, so in your face.
I played
anyway,
more than
that. Fee, is that what you said?
Yeah, Fee.
Yeah, it's
Fee. F-E.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that, and it does look interesting, so I might get that at some point. But other than that, there really wasn't that much at EA's conference that interested me. I didn't actually see the conference myself, but I did go back and watch some of the videos after the conference was over.
Nothing on Star Wars? I'm surprised you guys aren't. You guys are much bigger Star Wars fans than I'm like a casual Star Wars fan. So I'm genuinely surprised that not even you guys who are big fans of it are kind of freaking out about the expansions and everything. Have you not really played Battlefront?
I played the new Battlefront a little bit, but I mean, it's definitely not as fun as like the Battlefront 2 and stuff. I mean, the thing with Battlefront is, I mean, it looks really beautiful and everything, but at the same time, doesn't have that much content in it. Like, even though they're having like the expansion and stuff like that, but I mean, I played a little bit of just the normal game, and it's kind of disappointing a little bit. But I'm still pretty excited for the expansions though, and see what they add to it. But I mean, because I know I hear a lot of people kind of want that like a lot of people kind of want all like the expansions in the main game. But I mean, I'm fine with that. But at the same time, I mean, I still like to have a little more stuff. Maybe like instead of like having like all of it as like like a bunch of expansions, maybe have like half what it was for expansions actually in the main game, like maybe, and then the other half actually as expansions maybe. But yeah,
well, the thing is, I have a pretty weird history with Star Wars games because I've played a lot of them over the years, but the only one that's really interested me was the Force Unleashed, the first one. So I have seen gameplay for Star Wars Battlefront. Is that what it's called? Yeah, for Star Wars Battlefront. I've seen gameplay for it, and from what I've seen, it doesn't really seem like the kind of game I'd want to play.
But what about the newer ones? Because I believe they announced the one I know for sure is like a origin, like new characters and everything that will eventually be seen in movies. But they're also working on like an old school set one, kind of like a prequel game, but like prequel, I think, before the movies. I think it's what they said.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that game's already released. They just talked. Yeah, that game's been out for multiple years because that's an MMORPG type of game. That's been out for years. I think they just released in like more.
No, I remember they announced a new game like that. They specifically said that there would be a new game like based in the past, and they even showed like a teaser of two kids playing that are probably based off Luke and somebody. But are there any other thoughts on EA's conference?
Well, I actually never really heard about that because I just hear about how they, like, kind of mainly focusing on like the original trilogy and like the sequel, I guess the new movies and stuff. Because I hear that they like, I guess, like the people who own Star Wars and stuff really don't want to really go back to the prequels really that much.
Well, I mean, they do have a say in it, but it's for a game. It's not like they're gonna actually dive into it.
I know.
The movies.
I
mean, obviously Lucasfilm and Disney have a say about it, but it's not like it's gonna be movie. It's just like it's probably gonna end up being some type of standalone game set way before everything.
Yeah,
so
maybe
if they are making a game about some new characters that will eventually be in the movies, that actually sounds really interesting. I might try that out.
Yeah, that might be interesting. I didn't know that it really announced any new Star Wars game really, besides expansions for like Star Wars Battlefront and stuff like that.
They sprinkled it in during the expansion announcements. They were kind of like, oh hey, we're making new games too, by the way.
Yeah, I heard that might be like the Battlefront 2 or whatever, like EA's Battlefront 2, I guess, which would technically be Battlefront 4, but that will feature the one from the new movies.
Yeah, that's about it.
I guess pretty much not that much. Just talked about how the new Star Wars Battlefront. I'm kind of excited for Battlefield 1 just because I mean it's been a while. I mean a lot of the games are kind of like more modern type game, and I like how Battlefield's going back to like the old days or whatever, which is interesting.
All right, before we move on, may I ask a question? Battlefront 1, is that what the game's called?
I think they just call it Battlefield. Yeah.
Battlefield.
Battlefield.
Oh, Battlefield. Are you talking about Star Wars or the other one?
I was talking about Battlefield.
Yeah, Battlefield. Battlefield 1.
Battlefield 1. Yeah, Battlefront is the Star Wars one.
Alright, so
Battlefield is just the other one, other shooter. That's pretty similar to, just sort of similar to the new Battlefront.
So what I want to ask is, we have the Battlefield series that has had how many entries in that series, and now it's going back to Battlefield 1 because it's a prequel game, is that right?
Yeah.
We also have things like Infamous Second Son, and then the sequel DLC called Infamous First Light, and then we have the Xbox 360, which goes back to Xbox One. So let me ask, do video game companies know how to count?
I don't know. I guess not. But I don't think Battlefield 1's really a prequel, really. Because it's more of a like online multiplayer type of game, so, I mean... And people kind of play Battlefield for kind of the multiplayer, so...
Well, I don't mean like story-wise, I mean like the campaign takes place at a time frame prior to the prior to the previous games.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's specifically set during like World War One.
Yeah,
And they said that they were gonna showcase other like historic war events also
But-
around that time. So,
But I think that specific game is for Battlefield 1. They might release like others in the future around that time frame, but I think that I bet there's probably gonna be like maybe expansions or DLC or something maybe if they do that anything but Horde 1 or just a completely new game in the series. That's my guess.
alright, so moving on to Bethesda now.
Nice.
They announced a reboot of the Prey series. They announced Fallout Shelter, the mobile game, is coming to PC. They announced Bethesda VR, which is going to have Doom and Fallout 4. I think both are in 2017, they said. There's going to be extra content coming to Fallout 4 itself. They announced Dishonored 2. They announced some DLC expansion type stuff for Doom. They announced Elder Scrolls Online stuff. A DLC featuring Elder Scrolls 4. Quake Champions wasn't announced. And the big thing, in my opinion, that they announced, other than Bethesda VR for Doom and Fallout 4, was a remastered edition of Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls 5. So, pretty much, Prey actually kind of surprised me, but it was nice to hear about, it was nice to see the VR stuff, and obviously Skyrim Remastered is pretty good to hear, so, in my opinion, Bethesda did a lot better than EA, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, I kind of agree that Bethesda did a lot better than EA. Well, mainly because I'm really excited for the Skyrim Remastered. Because, like, that looks awesome. I mean, it's gonna look beautiful. I mean, Skyrim already looks kind of beautiful on PS3 and the Xbox 360, but I mean, it could. I mean, it's a game that could improve on the graphics a little bit, though. But like, because Skyrim is one of my favorite games from Bethesda, I guess I would say, and it's also the first game that introduced me into the Elder Scrolls series, and stuff. So I'm kind of excited for that. But plus I don't have the DLC for Skyrim, which I believe it comes with the DLC of the Xbox One and PS4 version of the game. And also I'm excited for the Bethesda's VR, like just because I tried VR once and twice before and it just looks awesome. Of course, I haven't really played a AAA game or like a really popular game on VR, and I kind of want to try out some type of game, very popular game or AAA game that's in VR, and I think that in VR just looks really cool. Even if it's like a simple puzzle type of game or something like that, it still looks really cool. And also excited for like the different expansions for like Skyrim Online and stuff and Fallout 4 a little bit. But I mean, yeah, just excited for some of those games and stuff.
So about the Skyrim Remastered, I have a friend who's been trying to get me into Skyrim forever, and I just haven't because I don't think my computer is powerful enough to run the game. At least run at a stable frame rate. So when I read that Skyrim was going to be on the PlayStation 4, I was like, okay, first of all, I gotta get a PlayStation 4, and second, time to finally get Skyrim.
Yeah, Skyrim's. I tell you one thing, I think you're gonna love it. It's a great game. Oh man.
Yeah, the game looks really cool.
Game.
The game looks really awesome. It's just that I'm not particularly a big fan of games that have realistic art styles. Simply just because, in my personal opinion, I think it's easier to point out the flaws in the graphics with a game with realistic art styles than it would be for a game with stylized artwork like Okami or Rayman Legends or games like that. But that's just my personal opinion, because I'm weird.
Well, I mean, I mean, some games, like, I know there's games I've seen that the art just looks kind of, like, weird as cartoony or even realistic sometimes. But the thing with realistic, a lot of times when realistic games, they kind of become outdated, more quickly than the cartoon-looking ones. I mean, I played some games which do look realistic, but still look really good and are not outdated. Even if they came out like 5-10 years ago and supposed to look realistic, they still look good. It's just, I guess, all depends on the game. But most of the time, not that much. Occasionally, but not much. Well, like I said, last minute, maybe.
All I can really say is that I hope that the Skyrim
really.
remaster at some point ends up on the NX.
Really.
I doubt it too.
I
but
highly doubt
one can
that
dream.
would happen. Highly doubt it. I mean, it's definitely
Nobody
not
thought
a game that
Bayonetta
would
2
be
would
on
ever be
NX.
made and be exclusive to Nintendo, so
Nobody thought Bayonetta 2 would be a thing at all.
it's
I
true.
mean, the thing is, I mean, those are completely different games and stuff, and I think Skyrim was
seen
kind
anything
of
for
too
Bayonetta?
violent for Nintendo anyway.
Have you seen gameplay of Zombie U?
No, but I mean, well, I mean that. I guess occasionally maybe, but I doubt Skyrim would be on it. I mean, at the very beginning of the game, you wouldn't get your head chopped off at the beginning of the game almost. I mean,
I seriously doubt it will ever happen also, but I mean...
Just based on how violent it is, and I mean, it's not that violent, but I mean...
Well, I doubt it would be on the NX too, but that's only just because the Elder Scrolls doesn't have that much of a history with Nintendo. But I don't think it would be because of the violence of Skyrim that it won't be on the NX. Because you have games like Bayonetta where you summon just giant demons to rip apart angels and things like that.
Yeah, Nintendo's not shy with violent games, so that wouldn't be a reason at all.
I mean, it may just, I mean, I guess. I mean, did Bayonetta have like blood or anything maybe? Kind of.
Yeah, there's blood going
like when they whipped
you play
apart
that game.
or something like that.
Like, I usually don't like blood, but the way it looks in Bayonetta actually looks kind of funny.
Maybe
it sounds morbid, but when you look at the gameplay and you see blood spurting everywhere, it kind of unrealistically, and it just looks so hilarious and over the top.
I think maybe that's why, because it kind of doesn't look as realistic as like Skyrim or anything. I think maybe that's why they allowed it, because it doesn't really look realistic that much compared to like other games. I haven't played Bayonetta, but just based on what the game, based on what I've seen, I mean, it doesn't look that realistic. So I mean,
well, to be fair, as realistic as Elder Scrolls is, it's not realistic either. So it's all video games.
What are you talking about? Dragons are real.
Well, I know, but I meant the design, like how it looks. I mean, not like, I'm not saying it's realistic or anything. I mean how it looks, like the graphics and stuff look like realistic compared to.
To be honest, no game will ever be as violent as Meme Run from the Nintendo eShop. Anyways, Meme Run. Don't look that game up. You will probably die a little inside. Anyway, how about we move on to Ubisoft's conference? So the big thing that they kicked off with their presentation of Just Dance and that little number that they did, they basically confirmed the first information of anything of NX, because the game will be coming to NX. Everywhere else that the game is going to be available, it's going to be available this fall, I believe they announced. a day or two later than the conference. But yes, we have our first confirmed NX game during E3, although technically we knew Zelda was going to be on it. But Just Dance 2017, then we had Ghost Recon Wildlands, then we had South Park The Fractured Butthole, then we had...
What?
Oh god. I know, wow. South Park.
Then we had
so
news of expansion for Tom Clancy's The Division. Then we had Eagle Flight VR. I think this game was shown off last year as well. Then they announced Star Trek VR, which, in my opinion, looks... Then we had For Honor. Then we have Grow Up, which is the sequel to Grow Home, which is available on PC and, I think, PS4 and Xbox One. Then we had Trials of Blood Dragon, which is a mix between Trials Fusion and Curse of the Blood Dragon, I think is the other series name. I'm not too sure about that. Then they went over the Assassin's Creed movie. I thought they would tie it in with a new Assassin's Creed game announcement, but surprisingly they didn't. Then they covered Watch Dogs 2, which is the big thing for their conference, and they followed that up with news of a Watch Dogs movie. And then they ended it off with a snowboarding game. Ubisoft, what are you doing? Why would... Ubisoft. But yeah, Watch Dogs 2 is what I take away from this the most. The South Park stuff they showed off looked hilarious, because of course South Park. And Grow Up looks interesting, because I played a little bit of Grow Home before, but I haven't finished it or anything. So what did you guys think of Ubisoft's conference?
I am so sick of that Watch Dogs 2 trailer.
Well, yeah, I did hear about Watch Dogs 2, but most of the games you said about, I really didn't hear about that. Partly reason because I didn't watch Ubisoft's conference. But I did hear about Watch Dogs 2 and like the Division thing and about VR and stuff. Which actually some of the stuff I heard before E3, some of the stuff you mentioned, like I heard of the Assassin's Creed movie. I heard that like a month ago or so about something like that. But no, I mean there wasn't really anything I really kind of want to want. There wasn't really anything. Maybe just some VR games and stuff. I don't know. Nothing really that surprised me.
I just mostly find it weird that they talked about the movies during their E3 conference, because E3 is usually about video gaming, and I understand that the Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs movies are based off video games, but I just find it odd that they'd use up time from a gaming conference to talk about movies.
I mean, it's gaming movies. It's based on the games. I mean, they had to at least talk about it a little bit, though. Because they're games. But
I mean, to be fair, Ubisoft's never really followed the rules anyway, so...
Yeah.
So is that it for Ubisoft's conference?
Pretty much. Nothing really.
All I really wanted to say was two things. I am disappointed that they didn't show the new Rayman game at E3, but at the same time, it's not like I was expecting it or anything, because we haven't had a Rayman game in forever. But since that Watch Dogs 2 trailer came out, if you go onto any trailer related to E3, 90% of the time it's going to be a Watch Dogs 2 trailer, and I am sick of looking at that thing.
Oh wow.
It's really pushing Watch Dogs 2. I mean, the gameplay looked nice, but I mean, you know, it has a specific fan base, basically.
Yeah, I think part of the reason they were pushing it because I heard that the first game, like, no one liked it. Well, everyone was like looking for it, I think, but no one liked it, and that game was kind of overhyped.
Yeah, especially Nintendo fans didn't like it because they delayed it forever, barely added anything to it, and kept it as launch price when everything else was discounted.
Oh wow!
And then the game ran like garbage on the Wii U.
Yeah, and I just heard people didn't. Well, I mean, even non-Nintendo fans or don't even have Nintendo systems who played it, I heard didn't like it that much. which one interesting thing I heard, it was like similar, like a lot of people say that's similar to Grand Theft Auto a little bit, at least the gameplay or and stuff like that.
I think people probably said that because they showed the characters stealing cars, so that's probably why they said that.
I mean, when they actually
inspired by Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I heard people who actually play. I heard that they said it's pretty much like a new, like really similar to Grand Theft Auto. I mean, but a lot of people still don't like it though.
So that's everything, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
not really any games really. But actually, there's one thing about that South Park game. Earlier today, I watched like a top 5 like game theory like E3 modes that he thought of like were the best, and somehow that game made his top 5. That South Park game.
I mean, it looked good from what they showed of it.
I mean, I didn't watch Ubisoft, so I wouldn't know. But I mean, all the games on the top 5, somehow South Park made it. But once again, I didn't see Ubisoft conference, so.
Well, that takes care of the small fry conferences. There was also a PC exclusive conference, but I didn't watch that because it was like,
There was?
yeah, I don't think they announced anything really during that, and it started immediately. It started while Ubisoft was still going on because Ubisoft went over time because for some reason they wanted to go 2 hours instead of 1 hour 30 minutes like everybody else. But nonetheless, I guess it's time to start talking about Microsoft's conference.